Let me ask you a question.
What's good?
I know.
Whoa, ladies hour. Hey, look at this brave young gentleman here.
I know.
It's a lot. Don't worry, we'll be kind to you.
Yeah.
It's all cool. You're very fashionable, so you're welcome.
Yes, very much so.
For everybody just tuning in right now, we're here with What the Fashion, hosted by our lovely Wild Child. You want to intro us? Hi.
So today we have a lovely guest.
We do.
Silvia Tonui,
Mhm.
CEO of Fafa.
Fafa. And if you guys don't know what the Fafa is, you guys are really missing out. But we're here to tell you more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hi Silvia.
Hi,
How are you doing?
Great.
Hope you're well.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
Today we're having an interrogation.
Yes.
Oh, whoa. Don't make her sweat. Don't make her sweat in these lights. I want to dive right in and just... No, you will say the right things because there are no right things to say. You just say it.
Yeah.
First of all, can you tell me about this really awesome jacket?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
we
what I
just-
want to know.
Let me just go right in.
My best friend lives in Ghana, so she has all these cool Ankara fabrics.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and of course, because I work for Fafa, I know the best designers. So I got
Seems
the
like it.
fabric, and they made me this fantastic jacket.
It's
It
beautiful.
looked like
Thank
a
you.
We
Kiko
need that
card.
link up. We need
Yeah,
that link
I
up.
know.
Exactly.
I'll hook you up.
Of course.
Okay, who wants to start?
I want to start.
Go.
Sylvia, why are you so cool?
Oh, wow. I told her not to make sweat.
Next question.
Yeah. Next question. Wild Child.
If you're a fabric, what would it be and why?
Wow. I think I would be cotton. As much as it's very popular, I think it's a very resilient piece of fabric, and I think it blends with all sorts of people. I blend with all sorts of people. It blends with all sorts of fabrics. So I think I blend with all sorts of people, and I think I'm very resilient. I bounce back, and yeah.
I love that you talk about that. I love that you talk about that in relation to your clothes, because one of the first conversations I had with you was you talking about how you grew up in a family that was expecting you to be maybe more a bit of a traditional person. And I don't know if your resilience that you're talking about was in this epiphany that you shared with me, where you realized at some point you were like, wait, it's not that I'm not good at these other things. It's actually that I love fashion, which is something that I never explored as being like an outlet or a possibility for me in my life. So I know Akinyi talks a lot, and we talked about this when we had Katungulu on, that especially in this society and in this culture, it's considered like just a hobby or like an expensive just thing that you love to do, or a luxury. But a lot of people here like fashion is art, fashion is my way of life. So how did fashion come into your life in such a major way?
I think you're very right. For every African girl growing up in an African family, you're expected to become a doctor or
Lawyer.
a lawyer, or you know the boring stuff.
We need you too. We love you too.
Yeah.
You know,
beef.
Yeah, I think my first introduction to fashion, I've always liked clothes, and my first job was with Elle magazine in South Africa, and that was my first contact with fashion. And then I realized that growing up, I thought that people who work in fashion are not that smart. They didn't get really good grades, so fashion
That's
was
just
back
what
up.
they did.
I
Yeah.
know. Then I met all these amazing, really smart people who are so serious about fashion, and I realized that, you know what, fashion is about daily life. It doesn't have to be about clothes. It's about our lifestyle, how we live, how we express ourselves. I express myself through the way I dress, and I think that's what makes fashion so awesome.
Yeah, and you really do work with a community of people that are brilliant, especially here. I mean, we've seen some images on the screen of Anne McCreath, Emmanuel Jumbo. So tell us a little bit about the Fafa community for people that might not be familiar, that have no real idea what that is.
Yeah. Fafa is, for those who don't know, it's a festival for African fashion and arts. So we try and promote fashion and arts, both locally and internationally, because we find that we have so many amazing designers in Kenya, but then nobody knows about them. So that's why we created Fafa as a platform to market these really amazing designers. And I have had the privilege of working with really amazing people. One of them is Anne McCreath of Kiko Romeo, who started Fafa actually.
Shout out.
Kenya fashion.
Yeah, so and then I met really amazing people like Emmanuel Jumbo, who's a fashion photographer. I had the opportunity to travel with him to South Africa for the Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, and the way he takes his pictures is, you know, just this expression of fashion in a way that no other Kenyan photographer does. And then, of course, my girl crush is Dr. Moloe Mutsepe. She created Africa Fashion International. Yeah. She created Africa Fashion International and got the Mercedes-Benz franchise to, you know, to sponsor her fashion week. So she's my number one girl crush, and I hope when I grow up I'll be like her.
But I just wanted to, sorry. Before I didn't mean to cut you. It was just in relation
She just
to,
goes, you know,
to
Yes,
what
I
you
can,
just
you
said.
please.
Then, if you started Fafa for the fact that you wanted to promote more fashion from the continent and more arts, culture, and that kind of scene, then why is it based on the theme of promoting peace within the region and things pertaining to that? Because what I don't like is a lot of the really properly produced stuff in this continent, in terms of fashion, film, or cartoons, whatever it is, whatever art form it is, even music, it always has some kind of NGO tick to it. Like it's for peace, or it's for this AIDS problem, whatever. They're always produced properly, and the other projects by other people aren't. And I just wanted to know why is it always still having that tangent of it's hinged on the element of peace and bringing, I guess, people together instead of arts
I
just
know,
for
why
art's
you gotta
sake.
bring people together, Sylvia? Jeez.
Because I'm made to understand Fafa started out in the 2008 post-election violence. Was
Yeah.
it like a strategy for fashion for peace, or?
Yeah, I think fashion, like many other things, brings people together, and unfortunately or fortunately, Fafa was started in 2008 after the post-election violence, and we needed a feel-good story coming out of Africa, and it's unfortunate that we have all these. As you say, this NGO lingo surrounding Africa, but then it's the sad reality that we need peace in Africa at least. And at that time, we had so many people fighting after the post-election violence, so we needed a platform to bring people together. And I can't think of a better way than arts. And you know, we express our arts through things like fashion, and so we're bringing people together from every single tribe to come and see these amazing people, you know, coming up with really beautiful designs. So that's why.
I hear you too. I hear what you're saying, but I actually think also coming from an international perspective, what's really cool is that to have an NGO kind of flavor, but that something is more lighthearted, more daily, more lifestyle, you know, rather than it feeling so heavy-handed, is also something that's really cool to represent to the rest of the world. And also, even in the States right now, there's been a lot of statistics that release that ever since there was, you know, this global economic recession and a lot of different financial difficulties, they did all of these charted sales where people were actually more likely to spend and buy if they knew that there was a cause oriented behind their fashion. Which I think is really cool, because it's almost like we're bridging together, you know, something that's considered like a luxury or an excessive habit with something that actually creates a deeper meaning
Like
and impact
Red.
in our community.
Like Red is a great brand and great label for charity-related things to products.
Yeah, and it's really interesting that Marushka should say that, because, you know, when you talk about peace in Africa, then you, or just Africa in general, then you see pictures of, you know,
all you see is
starving
the bad
children
stuff.
and everything.
Yeah.
But then we can express peace in other ways, in really beautiful fabrics and really beautiful design, really beautiful minds coming together to put together a really amazing show that is not synonymous with Africa, because when people think about Africa, it's all poverty and despair.
Yeah.
And have you guys ever been to any Fafa events?
Yes, too.
Okay.
2012,
Soon
2014.
enough. Soon enough.
Wild child. Wild child.
We have one coming up in May, so
I'd love to
Tell us about
Love
it
you.
quickly while
Do you
we're
have it?
talking about it. What's coming up in May?
yeah. So
Secrets.
yeah. So last year May we had Fafa at the Oval on the
Okay.
8th floor, and then this year
Ooh,
it's gonna
nice.
be a little bit different. We're mixing it up with a horse racing derby.
No.
That's so fun.
Get your hats ready
Yeah.
and see you
That's
at the race
awesome.
course.
And you guys have stuff consistently as well.
Yes.
I went this past week and I saw you at Casablanca. There was the for anyone who missed it. You
Okay,
really
what
missed
happened?
out.
What
I'm
happened?
sorry.
What happened?
Okay,
What happened?
Wait,
What happened?
wait. But that we'll get to that later
Okay,
on.
fine.
I have a burning question.
Burn.
Okay, yeah.
Burn.
Say it.
Is
Burn it out.
Kenya losing patent to the Westerners because Japanese have the Kikoi Akala as the shoes, the Maasai shoes, and what else do they have?
Yeah, people have a lot of
They have
patents.
so much. It's like Kenya is losing whatever we have to other people. What do
Yeah.
you think of that?
Okay, and that's a misconception. Japan doesn't have the Kikoi and the Akala. They have the Kyondo.
The kyoto. Okay.
We
Yeah.
learn
We're
something
learning.
new
We're
every
learning.
day.
Learning.
It's all good.
See,
Yeah.
fashion is not small-minded.
Yeah, I think we are evolving the Kenyan fashion industry. We have very many very intelligent fashion designers, but for the longest time we didn't know the business side of things. You know, we were just producing things, and then then we have people who come from I don't want to call it the West, but then I think a lot of Kenyan designers need to be educated on patenting and their intellectual property rights.
Yeah.
Most of them don't even know that you could take your patent or your design and go to the government and have it patented for very little money, 2,500 shillings. So I think that's why we formed, for Fafa, we formed the weekly focus groups.
Which
just
I
so that
Where can people access those as well? If people are interested, they're hearing this now and they're like, what? I had no idea. I want to learn more. I'm an up-and-coming designer.
Yeah, we always post it on our social media, on Facebook Fafa, and then on Twitter Fafa Kenya. But then it's a forum for young designers to know more about business, the business side of doing of fashion, and not just creating something and then they're running at a loss.
Make your art and make your money.
Yeah, you need to make money, and you need to know your rights, and you need to know, if I create something really unique, I can patent it, and
and just have a successful business. It's amazing. It's amazing the talks they have. I attend a lot. It's amazing.
It is
Good
amazing.
work.
Sylvia, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah.
I feel
Thanks
like
for having us.
Fashion University right now.
Yeah.